and I wish that, that for me, that's where it's needed. And unfortunately, she's been not able to have it. For me, it's really difficult when you see women that feel like, well, maybe you don't need it as much as this person needs it for health reasons. So I find that quite difficult. And also, I just think we need some curvier women to represent everyone across the spectrum. If we all end up losing weight, there's not going to be anyone there anymore that represents women that are happy in their bodies, feel great about themselves.
That's why it's so great, I think.
Like, I look at that, when I hosted Love Island, I don't even have boobs there. I'm like, what happened to my boobs? They just lost them all. They were just like vanished. Oh, they're back now though. Yeah. Don't worry about that. Yeah, no, they're completely different now.
I just think, I think in the dating world it's trickier because I think a lot, and not all, but a lot of men will judge somebody's attractiveness by their weight. But you look at people like, I don't know, Dawn French, James Corden, it's not done them any harm, has it? If you've got personality and you walk into the room with a big smile, it shouldn't really matter. But I mean, modelling, which of course was the world that you were in, like a lot. I know you're still modelling now, but it's a different kind of, the skinny model ideal is still out there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. In the 90s, it was all that. It was all kind of wave, flirting.
Yeah, and so if we don't sort of have different body shapes represented, that's going to become even worse.
Well, women of all ages and all sizes love fashion and love to feel good and love to look good, and I think it's important that we see women of all ages and all sizes in fashion. Yeah. And I think we've had a couple, but it's very niche. Yeah. But I love what you're doing anyway, because I think when you present yourself or when you're photographed, you always say, no, I want it as it is. I don't want it to be filtered.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we've been talking with these jobs. The NHS, obviously, it's a very strict guidelines, and like you're experiencing with your rounds, we're talking about a lot of people that are getting it privately who aren't needing it for health reasons. So it's an interesting time to discuss it. But yeah, you always been called. That's what I say.
Good boy. Yeah.
Right now, Liz. Until then, have a good afternoon. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Good boy. You're on the sofa.
Suckabingo.com. Proud sponsors of Loose Women.
Is this the line on your head?
Coming up, as police review
Oh,
reports
there
of
it is.
alleged misconduct by Lord Mandelson, fresh pressure on the PM who appointed him ambassador. Also ahead at the hacking trial, a private investigator claims he did mostly illegal work for the Daily Mail. And a remarkable tale
Good girl.
of Queen's polarizer.
What's that?
$21.99 a month. It's award-winning broadband you can count. You feel the warmth of real people our team happy to help, even on the weekend. That's a plus. Switch today for our best January sale prices.
Tesco whoosh. Stored. Because going to the shops isn't everyone's bag.
You don't think low. It's a conspiracy. No one ever wins. It was me, and it could be you.
Hold up. Lotto from the National Lottery.
Enamel is your first line of defense against cavities and erosion. Pronamel Active Shield toothpaste gives stronger enamel defense from day one and 24-hour cavity protection. I would really recommend Pronamel Active Shield toothpaste.
And protect your little one's precious enamel with Sensodyne Pro Enamel for kids. Throat pain ruining your moment? Trust Strepsils Extra for soothing relief that's clinically proven. Its effective triple action relieves throat pain, fights the infection, and soothes your sore throat. Strepsils Extra. Own every moment.
Fun, freedom, adventure. Visit the UK's biggest start of season leisure vehicle and camping show from the 17th to the 22nd of February at the ANC Birmingham. Explore the latest tents, camper vans, caravans, motorhomes, awnings and accessories. Find your tickets now at ccmshow.co.uk. Parking included.
Are you worried about hair costs? Don't you know where to turn?
Come on, what's up here? No, no, leave it now.
If they have complex care needs or dementia, Parkinson's or Alzheimer's and pay for care, contact us for a no obligation confidential assessment. It doesn't matter if they have savings, income or own a home. If they meet the criteria, they're entitled to free NHS funding. Compass CHC, navigating you to free care.
Leave the flowers.
We travel to see
Good
the
boy.
world, but really it's the
Good
people
boy.
who bring it to life. It's the stories we're told and the ones we share that stay with us long after the journey ends. And when you travel in a small group with Jules Verne, experiences are crafted around one idea: connection. Whether across Europe or beyond, see destinations not just as places, but as living stories. Request a free brochure and start planning your next journey today at All Protected.
You good girl. You want your kisses, don't you? Hmm? You love your kisses.
With the UK's largest choice of homes, if Zoe can find hers, so can you. Right move. Believe it.
When they mean the world to you, having Pet Plan Pet Insurance can help you get them the best care. Save 10% when you sign up at petplan.co.uk.
And now, with the very latest from around the world and here at home this Tuesday lunchtime, it's the ITV News. What and when about Peter Mandelson?
What do you want? What do you want?
The Prime Minister's Cabinet has been meeting as police assess accusations that Lord Mandelson leaked sensitive government information to Jeffrey Epstein. Now the Tories look set to demand his vetting documents are released.
What I want to know is why what appears to have happened, a lot of the vetting was waved away so that Peter Mandelson could be given this role ahead of many other people.
Also this lunchtime, serious concerns over Grok and social media platform X. Officials are to investigate potentially harmful AI content. Plus, singer Kate Nash says musicians are desperate and the industry has a broken core. She'll join us live to explain why it's now so hard to make money from touring. And hailed a hero, how this superhuman teenager struggled back to shore to save his family.
Yeah, I just said, keep on going.
This is the ITV Lunchtime News with Charlotte Hawkins. Good afternoon. There are continuing questions this lunchtime about who knew what and when about Peter Mandelson contact with the late paedophile financier disgraceful. And now Downing Street says it is likely that safeguards were compromised and it's passed information onto the police. Our reporter Reese Williams is in Westminster for us this lunchtime. Reese, what's the latest on this?
Well, the sense of outrage from the opposition and betrayal from former colleagues of Peter Mandelson is growing this lunchtime as more allegations emerge from those files released by the US Department of Justice relating to Jeffrey Epstein. Already we knew of allegations Epstein made payments to Mandelson and his former partner, but perhaps most explosive, as you say, are the allegations that suggest that the former Labour grandee shared market-sensitive information with Epstein on several occasions while he was Secretary of State for Business under Gordon Brown during the global financial crisis in 2009. And all this after
You good boy.
jailed for the solicitation of prostitution with
I'm tired. You tired? Yeah. Oh, you tired. Go to sleep.
Peter Mandelson as US ambassador in the autumn continues to haunt him. The opposition is questioning not only his judgment, but the judgment of his Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, who's believed to have been influential in getting Lord Mandelson that Washington job, despite what was already known about his close friendship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
What we know is that Morgan McSweeney, the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, is a protege to Mandelson, reportedly speaking every single day. What I want to know is why what appears to have happened, a lot of the vetting was waved away so that Peter Mandelson could be given this role ahead of many other people who have been working within the Foreign Office who would have been more qualified to do so.
The Conservatives have asked for the release of vetting information, while in the last few minutes or so we've had confirmation from Downing Street that the Cabinet Office has today referred these emails relating to Peter Mandelson to the Metropolitan Police. Whatever happens next, the question over what wasn't known about Peter Mandelson before he took the US ambassador job look unlikely to go away.
Rhys, thanks very much. Prince Edward stressed it is important to remember the victims in the first comments from a royal since the latest release of Epstein files. And after it emerged that Sarah Ferguson took her two daughters to stay with him just days after his prison release, her charity has announced it's closing down for now.
Yeah, so this is a charity called Sarah's Trust, and if you go on their website, it's where Sarah Ferguson says she's brought all of her sort of various different philanthropic work under one roof. Well, this morning we had a statement from the charity, and it reads this. Our chair, Sarah Ferguson, and the Board of Trustees have agreed that with regret the charity will shortly close for the foreseeable future. This has been under discussion and in train for some months. They went on to say we remain extremely proud of the work of the Trust over recent years, and then the Trust did work in the area of like children's wellness causes, and it says that it worked in the sort of 20 countries around the world. As for Sarah's ex-husband, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, as we now call him, the former prince, haven't seen him today, not seen him since those shots of him riding his horse yesterday in Windsor estate. Remember, this is the estate that his brother the King's told him to leave, and he was still living there at the moment and quite happy to trot past the cameras yesterday, but we haven't seen him today. As for Sarah Ferguson, you mentioned just now, we revealed in those emails last night that she took her two daughters, Beatrice and Lucy, to stay with Epstein just 5 days after he was released from prison. You just wonder quite why these kind of decisions were ever made.
Yes, and Andrew's brother, Prince Edward, has been asked about the scandal, hasn't he? What did he have to say?
Yes, well, let's just hear from him. He was speaking in Dubai, and he was asked by the host at this conference he was at about the allegations, and this is what he said.
And I know you've put in various plans in place to move the institution forward, but how are you coping with that?
Well, with the best will in the world, I'm not sure this is the audience that is probably the least bit interested in that. So they all came here to listen to that, education solving the future. But no, I think it's really important always to remember the victims and who are the victims in all this.
Absolutely.
A lot of who are the victims in all this? You do wonder whether he meant is his brother one of the victims because of the way in which he's been, a lot of allegations made against him, all of which he denies, of course. But it's not the first time a member of the royal family has expressed concern for the victims. Remember, the King and Queen did say when they stripped Andrew of all these titles a couple of months ago, their thoughts and sympathies remain with the victims and survivors of all things.
Chris, thanks very much for bringing us up to date with that. Well, among the other figures mentioned within the files, former American President Bill Clinton. Now, he and his wife, the former US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, have agreed to testify in a Congress investigation. It follows the threat of being held in criminal contempt after they previously resisted subpoenas for months. Next, the latest from a High Court hacking trial where the publishers of the Daily Mail are being sued over claims the newspaper group misused private information related to Liz Hurley, Doreen Lawrence and Prince Harry. At this lunchtime, a private investigator has been testifying. Associated Newspapers Limited has always denied any wrongdoing. But John Ray is following the case, and John, this was an important...
Yeah, the credibility of the witnesses now being cross-examined here in the High Court, of course, is crucial to the outcome of this fiercely contested trial. Today, we've been hearing from an American-based private investigator who the claimants contended mostly illegal work for the Mail over 20 years. Daniel Portley Hanks is a colourful Jeffrey Epstein. And what Mr. Epstein claims is that he was asked by the Mail to pay through intermediaries, a serving police officer, for access to the file. I got one of Epstein's phone books, he told the court, with all the girls he had and the notes he made about them. To this day, that notebook has never been public, he said. Now, Associated newspapers have described his evidence at times as vague and as inconsistent, and their barrister produced an email from a senior executive at the Mail saying, look, you must sign this document to say all the work you do for us is lawful. He signed it, but he told the court, I agreed, but it wasn't true. I did it because I needed the money. Associated newspapers deny all the charges against them, and this case is due to continue until March.
John, many thanks. A formal investigation has been opened into the social media platform X after the widespread use of its chatbot Grok to generate deepfake sexual images. Media regulator Ofcom had already begun inquiries, and now the Information Commissioner says it is reviewing whether data protection law was upheld. Saba Chowdhury has been looking into this, and Saba, remind us the background to all of this.
Good afternoon. So Grok is Elon Musk's AI chatbot, and in recent weeks it's been under heavy scrutiny for being used to generate highly sexualized deepfake images, and this isn't about people's consent. And so today the Information Commissioner's Office, the ICO, they are an independent data regulator at the government. They've said that it's open
And I was trying to point to a sort of larger broken ecosystem. The music industry is broken at its core, and there are some really massive companies like Live Nation, Spotify, and the major labels that are profiting in the millions off of artists. And I think artists are a little bit sick of screaming into the void about how they're not paid fairly and how it's becoming more impossible to make shows happen. You know, because for a long time we were told it doesn't matter that you're not paid fairly for your recorded works because you profit from touring. Well, now we're not profiting from touring, so what do we do?
Okay, I mean, just to say, we know that Spotify has spoken about this, haven't they? They've said that they've paid around £500,000 in revenue to rights holders for your track in particular. So I guess they would say that they are paying money.
But let's say that Spotify and the major labels are pointing the finger at each other, but there's no minimum wage for musicians, no Fair Wages Act, and I just don't think it's ethical to say that 0.003 of a penny per stream is fair wage. When we look at this situation, particularly as we're talking about today in the select committee, obviously the issue with not being able to tour as much because of the limitations that have been put in place post-Brexit. For you then, it's come down to what, touring and losing money or not touring at all? You know, what decisions have you had to make over this?
For me, I'm able to be in a position of privilege because I have made a bricks in my catalogue, have an international name. I started an OnlyFans account, which I'm still running. I sell pictures of my bum online to subsidise, you know, the losses that I make from paying for 3 band members, a lighting engineer, a sound engineer, tour manager, a guitar tech, and a photographer. Like, these aren't flashy shows, but there is a certain integrity that I want to be able to sustain in my shows. And I think 20 years into my career, with the cultural impact that I've made, the success that I have, the thousands of tickets that I can sell, I'm within my rights to protect that integrity and put on a certain standard of show. But if I can't do it, where did the younger artists that
saturated, so it's going to be prone to and sensitive to some flooding. We've also got a warning for ice and snow, and this is only for Staffordshire. It runs from 6 p.m.
Surface through the carpet and saves the day. Not only will your carpet be clean and dry, but that mess underneath, you remember that big lake that we had?
It kind of soaks that up as well. Oh my word.
Good, right? Great.
That is so good.
First time you use it for a big spill like that, you will thankfully and happily remember the day they came through your front.
Well, it's paid for itself then, hasn't it? If that,
Hasn't
you know,
it?
absolutely, just one accident. But you'll use it for the car, the caravan, the motorhome. You'll take these outside to clean the tables. You know, when you want to sit out and have lunch or dinner.
If it's just damp outside, it'll be great. Great if you have any pet accidents, as Dave was
Could
saying.
be under the drinking bowl, actually, because they spill it everywhere,
they
don't
spill
they?
so much.
But great for a little wee, a little accident. Always having one of them.
Machine washable as well. Put them straight in the washing machine for cleaning, and then they come out good as new. We've got a brilliant bundle for you today. 469893 is your item number. What we call a buy one get one free, but it's a buy three get three.
Yeah, so if you're looking on our website, do not buy